Welcome back, Insomniacs, Kurious Cyclopes.
And Steve.
Well, today we got some more controversy for you. So we're gonna talk about shock flicks. That's what I call them, shock flicks.
Yeah.
Shocking flicks. Um, for my little background of shock flicks, by the time I was like 16, I had seen all the Halloweens, all the Texas Chainsaw, all the Nightmare on Elm Street, like all those. So automatically I'm like, oh man, I watch all the slasher flicks. I've seen some other classics. There's not much else to watch. First of all, I was really wrong, but that was just my mindset when I was 16. So I was like, oh man, well, nothing's scaring me anymore. Nothing's like getting to me. So what can I do? Well, at this point, obviously the internet's in full swing. So I literally type in shocking movies just on Google. And what do you know? I got a whole big list of movies that I never, ever heard of, ever in my life. And it turned out a lot of these movies are on banned lists of most widely banned movies across the world. So, real quick, what was your background with shock flicks? How did you all get started?
It's very similar. It came within the past couple of years. I think I hit a point of like disillusionment from all the same old crap that we were getting from like newer horror movies where it was just kind of lame and I wasn't really enjoying anything, and it turned into all these movies were just like throwing a lot of blood all over the place and shit. And I was just like, well, if I'm gonna watch a movie that's like super gory, like I might as well watch something that's like fucking over the top. Like, so that's why I started seeking out, was just like real gory, gross shit.
All right, the medium I used to obtain these films was Netflix when it was still the mail delivery. Well, is that how you went about it, or?
I think I was a little past Netflix at that point,
okay.
so I did a little purchasing, a little downloading,
so just
whatever. Yeah.
All right. Well, before we get started, I just want us to mention our first shock films that we saw. So, me first, Cannibal Holocaust. How about you?
Mine would probably be more current. I believe the first movie I can remember seeing would have been like Human Centipede.
Oh, okay. And you know what? Even though that's newer, now they did update all those lists to put Human Centipede on there because apparently it really disturbed people. It definitely grossed me out to an extent, but it wasn't as bad as some other ones I saw. But
I'll be getting into that a little bit later.
Yeah, but a lot of people obviously find that fucked up. So yeah, mine was Cannibal Holocaust. That was my first shock flick. The reason why I watched it first, it always seemed to be number one on all those lists. So what do I do? I go on Netflix. I see that they have the raw, uncut, uncensored, and I was like, great. Like I already thought it was bad enough, but now they're gonna give us an uncut one. So guess what? I watched it with my girlfriend at the time when I was 16, 10 years ago. This is the first time in my life I literally had to turn off the movie halfway through. And I'm almost embarrassed to tell people that, but I'm dead serious. I had to turn off halfway through because I thought I might throw up.
Wow.
But it was a fucking intense movie. Not only is the imagery fucked up, like the violence, but knowing that the animal deaths are real and you're seeing animals just get straight up chopped up. Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
That's still fucked up. That's like borderline snuff film shit. But yeah, my first one was Cannibal Holocaust. I got sick. I took a half-hour break, and then I finished the second half of the movie. Definitely one of my favorite shock flicks of all time, if I can even say, I love shock flicks. I mean, I do to an extent, but obviously it's not like a rewatchable thing that you watch like every couple of months. Like, I saw Cannibal Holocaust probably twice in my life, and I haven't really seen it much more than that. So yeah, it almost made me sick. So what was your first one?
The first one I have on my list, I'm going a little more recent. I think I told you about this movie. But I watched this movie on that Shudder service called Kuso, Kuso.
Kuso, okay. Yeah, I remember.
And it was from this like musician, I think his name is Flying Lotus, and the guy David Firth, who did like Salad Fingers and stuff on YouTube. So I expected it to be weird. What I didn't expect was that it was just going to be like mindless and like just attempting to be gross for the sake of being gross, but like it didn't put me off. I wasn't like, ooh, I feel sick right now. I was just like, this is just nasty. Like, this is just fucking stupid and gross. Like, what the fuck? Like, even some of these movies that are fucked up, like, I'm still like, oh, it's pretty interesting,
Yeah.
the fucked up shit they did. This was not one of those cases. So, I mean, if you...
You're making me want to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to give away the gross shit that they do in it if anybody ever checks it out, but, like, it's, like, every character has these weird, like, boils and shit on their face, which was, like, disgusting to me at first until you realize that goes through the entire film. So after about 5 minutes, you're just desensitized to that.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning the boils before, and I was like, okay, that's a little gross. Even though I go out of my way to watch boiled YouTube videos where they pop them.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah, it's like yogurt. All right, so the second one on my list, Faces of Death. I also was like 16 at this time. After my Aunt Barbara actually took me to Monster Mania 10, I was staying at her apartment in New Jersey because it was in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. So when we got back, of course, my aunt, she has a fucking awesome DVD collection that I envy with horror. Guess what my Aunt Barbara has? A fucking huge Faces of Death box set.
Oh, wow.
Of all of the Faces of Death. I haven't seen them all, but we did watch the entire Faces of Death together. And then when she went to bed, I started the second one. But, I fell asleep somewhere after. But Faces of Death is fun. It's awesome. Obviously, some of the hype gets killed when you hear, it's fake. But, dude, they're realistic looking. Some people say some of the animal deaths are real and all that. I heard that was debunked.
Right.
But I don't know. Some of it I'm still not sure. Like the whole monkey in the table thing. Like, that's an infamous scene from Faces of Death. But Face of Death, it's obviously probably one of the most mainstream shock flicks you'll hear about. Just because that comes up all the time. Like, Face of Death, Face of Death. Actually, I think didn't they just show that at Mahoning Drive-In at some point?
They may have.
I think they did show Faces of Death. Pretty damn sure they did, or they will be. I forget, but yeah, Face of Death. That's like the household name when it comes to shock.
Right.
But I can't say I'm a fan of the franchise because I haven't seen them all. But from what I saw in the original and parts of the second, I loved it. It's just random compilations of fucked up clips, like execution, someone eating a dog, someone jumping off a building and killing themselves. I think some of those are real, like the suicides. But yeah.
Right.
All right. So what's the third one on your list?
I have this series. I'm gonna get shit so bad from
Why?
My buddy Keith gives me shit about these movies all the time. Thanks, asshole, if you're watching. I showed him this one movie, and he makes fun of me for it, acts like it's my favorite movie, and it's fucking gross. But there was this series of movies called the Vomit Gore Trilogy that came out.
Never heard of it until he told me about it. So.
Yeah. So we checked out the first one, Slaughtered Vomit Dolls, in case anybody's rushing to their computers.
I love these titles, man.
But apparently, whoever made these movies decided they were going to try and create this new genre of gross out movies that are like not only gory, but also just have a lot of puke.
So the genre is puke.
Yeah. The whole movie, I couldn't even tell you what it's about. It feels like a fever dream of this like girl who's like a hooker or something, I think, and like she's like anorexic or whatever, so you see her throwing up a bunch, all real puke apparently from what I read. But the one scene that sticks out to me in the movie, for some reason, there's like a girl crawling like on her hands and knees, no clothes on, because why would she have any? Gets up to this glass table, takes a knife, pops her eyes out like with the knife, and then shoves her hand down her throat and just starts like puking on her own eyes. It was disgusting, and it was such a pointless movie, and it made me angry to watch it.
It's almost hard it's hard to imagine it not having any plot. So is it just people walking around puking?
From what I could tell, I mean, don't get me wrong, I wasn't watching this like a fucking Siskel and Ebert or something, like trying to give it a review, but like I couldn't see any discernible plot.
So I'm assuming that's what each movie's like then.
I would imagine. I mean, I didn't have the stomach to keep watching the rest of them.
So the Vomit Gore trilogy doesn't have a rich story like the Hobbit trilogy or the Lord of the Rings trilogy?
No, it doesn't.
All right.
It's not so intricate.
All right, well.
Better director, though.
I mean, maybe I'll check it out. I don't know. I mean,
I would say don't.
no.
No, I would just say don't.
I mean, I don't think I do too bad of puke, but I don't know. Maybe it will gross me out.
I think the puke was okay. It was just how like insane it all.
The fact that you said it was real surprised me.
Yeah.
Real puke. Like, well, okay, man, that's
gross, dude.
pretty badass. All right, so third one on my list, I Spit on Your Grave. Brought this up recently on our favorite horror heroine video, but I Spit on Your Grave. Of course, that was one of the top ones on like the most banned movies list. It's a fucked up movie. It has like, it's a revenge flick, but the reason why it's shocking is because the scenes of rape are really brutal and they're hard to watch. Like, you think the original Last House on the Left is hard to watch? Imagine that tenfold.
Right.
And I still have a hard time watching Last House. So I Spit on Your Grave, just like Cannibal Holocaust. I've seen it twice. Haven't even like these movies. I never even rushed out to buy them because I'm like, how many times am I gonna want to watch these movies? But yeah, I Spit on Your Grave is definitely up there. Have you seen the original?
No, I only saw the remake.
How were the remakes?
I only saw the first of the remakes.
Because I know I think they made 2 sequels to the remake, but
I think from what I read, it stayed pretty faithful to the original.
But obviously, it was probably way more mainstream than being a shock flick.
Right.
Because the original was like a straight up shock flick.
Still hard to watch. I mean, obviously, it's hard to watch somebody get taken advantage of that way. Like, but it fucking still makes you that more hyped up to see her get her revenge at the end. Then.
Yeah, seriously, I was clapping, cheering, literally. All right, another one for you, or?
Well, we talked Human Centipede before. That was the first I can remember, but I never really understood why everybody was so shocked. Like, I got that it was a gross idea, but when you really look at that movie, like, they didn't really show you anything. Like,
yeah, I mean, the concept's gross.
Yeah. So, I have Human Centipede 2.
I was just gonna say that every time I look on a new shock list, it's always the sequel that's listed, not the original. And I want to know why, so fill me in.
Because 2 decided that they were going to show you everything and more. Like,
really?
Too much, yeah. They upped the number, so it went from 3 people to 12 people.
Jesus Christ.
It was in all black and white, which was kind of weird. Yeah, they did it super weird.
The gore's effective in black and white?
They did like a weird thing where there's a scene where the dude injects the people with laxatives, and one of them shits so bad that it like rips the sewing out and it shoots towards the screen, and it's like brown on the camera.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah, dude. They did really weird shit with this movie.
The premise alone is weird.
Yeah.
A movie about the movie.
But like the guy who's doing it's another like kind of meta thing where like it's a guy who's obsessed with the movie The Human Centipede, so like he's trying to bring it into his like real world. The guy who's doing it like calls one of the girls, the actresses from the first movie, and pretends that she's like going for auditions so that he can get her in his 12-person centipede, like, but without like getting into all the gross gory shit. Like, it's just disgusting, dude. Like, the guy's all into like genital mutilation, so like that's bad.
That's something that kind of gets me, genital mutilation.
Yeah.
So I think I might watch the sequel.
There's a scene, and like, cover your ears, look away if you don't want to hear about it, but there's a scene where a girl breaks free, a pregnant lady breaks free from the centipede, runs outside, gets in the car, starts the car, has the baby in the car, and then the guy is coming after her, so she decides that she's gonna like stomp on the gas and crush the baby. Yeah, to get away from this guy. It's a fucked up movie, cool, dude. Yeah, I mean, it was.
Is it a good movie?
I think so.
Even though it's gross.
I mean, I hate to endorse it, and then people are gonna be like, "This guy's a fucking weirdo."
You like killing babies?
Yeah, but I thought it was way more entertaining than the first one was.
Yeah, I wasn't so crazy about the first one, and when I heard the premise of the second one, I was like, okay, I'll definitely not watch that. But now I will, because I might like the second one more, like you're saying.
Right.
But yeah, man, like the fact that the Human Centipede, I can't think of a more modern movie that got added on to the shock list.
Right.
But yeah, I got one more to talk about. and then we'll just brush on a few more that we're aware of.
Yeah.
But here's one that I own, and I never ever watched. Salo, the 120 Days of Sodom. Okay, I've known about this for a long time. It's been right up there at the top of the list with like Cannibal Holocaust. It's a film about Italian fascists that go around to different towns and they kidnap children and they sexually torture them and they like make them eat shit and do horrible, terrible things. Um, I mean, obviously, it upsets a shit ton of people. Like the movie, it might. I'm not even sure what the legality is because I'm not sure what the ages of the actors and actresses. But I know exactly what the plot is. I always did know, but it just sounds so fucking fucked up and brutal. To this day, I've pushed it off for years. The only reason why I own it is because for the first time ever, I took advantage of the Criterion Collection clearance sale during like July, where it's half off or whatever. I think it's buy one get one half off. Is that it, or are they all half off?
I think they were all half off individually.
Well, see, when I hear half off in my head, that's buy one get one. So I bought House, which I really, really wanted. House. But then I had to buy a second one. I looked through every fucking movie. Knew Salo was there, but I didn't pick up Salo right away. After I decided there wasn't a second one I wanted, I was like, God damn it, I guess I have to get Salo. So I have Salo on Blu-ray. It comes with an awesome book. It looks beautiful, but part of me wonders how the hell are they able to sell this at Barnes and Noble? It's a fucking bookshop that's selling one of the most gruesome movies of all time. I know Cannibal Holocaust always gets the number one spot, but people say this might be the most offensive, upsetting movie of all time. And obviously, I just found out not long ago that the director was murdered before the movie came out, and he said it's kind of mysterious.
Yeah, I
but
think from what I heard that like they don't really know why it happened, but the rumor.
But it's easy to speculate. Someone didn't like what he was doing because obviously the movie's very political. It kind of like shames the fascists who are in control and like abusing their power and stuff, but it's scary because some of that crap could happen in real life. So, and common folk wouldn't know. So again, I don't know when I'm gonna watch this. I always told myself I don't want to watch it alone for the first time.
I'm sure you're gonna make me watch it with you.
Yeah, so I said whoever I'm gonna watch it with, I gotta make sure it's a good friend of mine that's open to it. I had a lot of friends turn me down in the past. Of course, my girlfriend will watch it. I don't blame her. But, like...
I'll watch it with you.
Yeah?
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
God, we're probably going to have to do an immediate reaction right after we saw him. And we're going to be traumatized. Like, oh!
They're going to turn on the channel. We're just sitting there, like, wide-eyed and shit.
Yeah. So, that's for my personal collection, but I still didn't see it. Let's see. Guinea Pig, I'll mention. I haven't really seen those movies. I'm aware of them. But Guinea Pig, they had a similar problem that Cannibal Holocaust had. When Cannibal Holocaust came out, the guys that made the movie were arrested because they thought they actually killed like tribal people and all that. So when Guinea Pig came out, they got, I guess the director or whoever made it got arrested because they thought they actually murdered this girl that was on a bed.
Right.
Because there's a part where her arms and legs get cut off. Apparently it looks so realistic, they forced them to reenact the effect in court to show them how the practical effect was done, to show like, look, we didn't really do anything.
Right.
And I think even with Cannibal Holocaust, they had to have the actors show up to show like, no, we're okay, like we're not dead. But yeah, so Guinea Pig and Cannibal Holocaust, they're the only two I know of that they legally got in big trouble for when the movies came out, which is incredible that a movie can do that, like cause so much problems.
Yeah.
Also,
I just have one more before we go through these last couple. I saved it to the end because it's the one that I will most certainly never watch again.
What could it be?
If Cannibal Holocaust and Salo are up in the tops, I would say this goes up there to round out that top three somewhere.
So, what's the Rotten trilogy? Cannibal Holocaust, Salo, and...
a Serbian film.
Whoop! You know what? I was wondering. I was like, I wonder if he's going to bring that up. Of course he's going to bring it up.
Of course I'm going to bring it up.
How could he not?
Once again, I watched this with my buddy Keith because apparently he's just the guy I get all this shock shit into. But I think it fucked us up, dude.
Seriously?
Like
Like it fucked up your head for a couple of days, or
I don't know about a couple of days, but it's definitely one of those movies that you finish watching and are just like left with a bad taste in your
and
brain.
then you question what's wrong with me to watch this movie, stuff like that.
Especially because like I hadn't gone any further into that movie than knowing like, oh, it's on all these shock lists and I bet it's like super gory, and like I thought it was gonna be like a real like gross, bloody, like horror-y sort of thing, and that was not the case at all. Like,
And I will say, I have a fucking magazine of Rue Morgue with Serbian film on the cover that I kept from when I was little, but to this day, I haven't seen Serbian film for the same damn reason I haven't seen Salo, because of violence against children. I won't bring up anything specific,
yeah.
but obviously, violence against children, that's always going to be the hardest thing to watch. Because, come on, they're kids.
Yeah.
But
I would honestly say just avoid it. Just don't
Yeah.
even watch it, and like
unless you're looking for a shock flick, then you might want to. It's just going to be really fucked up.
I guess, yeah, it's just know what you're getting yourself into.
Do you think if there's an actual guy that loves shock movies and, he goes around collecting them all, would you really tell him not to watch it, or is it that bad, do you
No,
think?
I mean, I guess watch it, but just like be prepared.
Yeah.
It's I
So, is it worse than Cannibal Holocaust, in your opinion?
oh, well, I haven't
'Cause
seen
that-
Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I use it as my gauge. When it comes to shock flicks, I'm like, is it worse than Cannibal Holocaust or not as bad? Because Cannibal Holocaust, like I said, that's my gauge. To,
Right. I would probably say worse just based on what I've heard of, because this is just too real. Like, it's a dude doing like unspeakable things with like his family members and
Oh, I didn't know it was his
stuff, like,
family members.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
The like I'm just gonna spoil it. I don't care.
All right, go
like,
ahead.
But the very last scene of the movie, they like inject this dude with some sort of like horse like Viagra essentially that gets you all like crazy hyped up.
They probably use it to have the mate and all that.
to get him to like film these fucking weird videos that he's got involved in. So they have him like sleeping with a girl. He cuts her head off with a machete because he's all like amped up. Runs into this other room and there's like a dude with a mask like having sex with somebody, and then there's another like person next to him and he jumps on that other person, and like he eventually, I forget, it's been so long since I watch it and I'm trying to push it out of my memory, but like eventually he finds out that it's like his wife that the other person's like
man.
sleeping with. The other person is like his brother or his best friend, something like that. And then when he like pulls back the covers to reveal who he's like doing it with, it's his son, like his little like 10-year-old son or something. Like, yeah, it's fucked, dude.
I literally have heard about this movie for so long. Probably, I heard about it for 10 years. I never heard that.
Yeah. So actually,
Never heard
that's
that.
not the absolute end of the movie, because
Yeah, it gets worse.
well, no, it doesn't get worse. It actually makes a lot of sense how the movie ends, because he lays in bed with his wife and his son, and he puts a gun up to his head and just like blows a bullet straight through all three of them.
Oh, I thought the end was the whole...
No, that's way earlier.
Oh,
Yeah.
for some reason I thought that was like the last hurrah of the movie.
No.
And then it ends.
Nope.
Damn, so that's in the middle of the fucking... Jesus. Like I said, I don't know if we should bring that up.
Yeah, don't
Yeah,
do that.
it's a little too brutal to bring up.
It's-
Obviously, you have Google, so fucking Google it if you want.
I mean, watch it at your own discretion, I guess. Just know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, so I guess that will wrap it up then. So having some experience with the shock genre, what do you say overall? Is it your cup of tea, or only if you're extremely bored and desperate to feel something from a movie? Like,
I think I like the shock stuff if it's like more horror based, where it's just like
Okay,
really
not just
gory
straight
and
up-
like just like a lot of blood and all that. But when it gets more into like the psychological, we're gonna do fucked up things to mess with your head, like, nah, I'm not so much into it
Yeah.
then.
I will say sometimes I regretted starting with Cannibal Holocaust, because I've seen a lot. The most recent shock flick I've seen recently was Island of Death, and it was bad, but it was nothing compared to Cannibal Holocaust. So in a way, I regret watching Cannibal Holocaust first, because I feel like most of the shock flicks, as I worked my way down the list, none of them held a candle to Cannibal Holocaust.
Right.
So apparently, I saw the most fucked up one when I was 16. But the only two I think could overcome it is Salo and Serbian Film. And those are the two movies that I still haven't seen because of the violence against children.
Yeah.
Because Cannibal Holocaust is fucked up, but there's not violence against children like there are in those two movies. And like I said, I really don't like drawing a line anywhere, but if I did draw a line, it might be there.
Yeah.
Like violence against kids. But then again, I always bring myself back down to earth and be like, Andy, it wasn't real. It was just a movie. It was, it was filmed and made, but it didn't actually happen. So I always gotta tell myself that.
Just makes you think what's wrong with the motherfucker who decided they wanted
Exactly.
to film and
then it
make
makes
that.
me wonder, is there something wrong with me for viewing it?
Right.
But then again, humans have always been fascinated by violence and the macabre, so.
Yeah.
All right, well, that wraps up my thoughts on shock flicks. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good.
I feel a little sick right now.
Yeah,
Just,
I feel a little grosser about myself.
yeah. I'm going to have to take a bubble bath while I'm watching Salo. Nah. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that shocking video. Guess what? Why don't you share your most favorite shock flicks with us? Even if it's shocking scenes. But remember, don't just do horror. Do straight up shock flicks, because I know there's a lot more that we didn't even cover that we want to hear about. Help us all. All right, that's going to be it. We're feeling a little exhausted after that one. Oh, God, in my mind. All right, well, Kurious Cyclops.
And Steve.
All right, enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you, Insomniacs.
Thanks.